Today, I got a brand new spanking cymbal from Paiste, and hands down, my most powerful, empowering cymbal in my collection. Not to say that the other ones don't have quality to them, but this one has the same quality with modern cymbal craftsmanship, and it's just blowing my mind. I haven't had the opportunity to play it with the group yet because we're all kind of confined here. Not confined completely, we're on a curfew, but it's restricting us from doing stuff in the evening. But I'm going to be using it. I got the cymbal because I'm working on a project with my trio, and I had bought cymbals specifically for the project, instead of just throwing whatever I have up there, and I've done a lot of recordings of those cymbals. I asked my friend Toma, can we just go in and professionally record these cymbals? I'm going to hit a whole bunch of them, 20 some of them. And I show them every once in a while on Instagram. But I have them professionally recorded, and I wanted to hear the return of those cymbals with the sticks I use, and playing at different tempos. I did it at 3 different tempos, and I did swells on all of them. In that list is a Dixie, all Paiste cymbals, Dixie, Cymbal 65, 404, 505s, 2 of them. The 404 is 22 inches. A Super from the vintage days of Paiste. A Signature Ride, Dry Ride. No, I wanted to compare the sounds of, I sold 1K. I have the first K that I ever bought, the only one that I bought, 22 inch, like 20 years ago. I wanted to compare it to that sound. And in that bag was a Zen too, which is an English cymbal, right? But it very close to like the Ludwig standard Dixie cymbals Paiste made, a long time ago, but not Paiste. But I don't play them anymore. I'm Paiste all the way, and couldn't be happier with that. So, but I professionally recorded all of these things, all these cymbals, and I wanted to hear them, and hi-hats too. I wanted to hear them and see the return, because I'm going to be, it's important. That's the kind of album this is. And so I did that. I was swinging all day long to do those cymbals, to the point where, anyway, I felt my muscle back here. I was like, what is that? And it must have been that, because I was just doing that. I was standing up, put the cymbal in a stand, swing on it, 3 different tempos, and that was it. And swells all day. And I learned a lot. I recommend, if you have the time to do that, try that out. It's a very revealing, very revealing, very educational experience about cymbals and recording, and how the recording today can make a cymbal sound like something it's not. really. I mean, and when you do that kind of experience, you realize that when you see cymbals on YouTube and you see cymbals elsewhere on a video, you really have to be careful. You have to compare the cymbal in several different videos to get a good idea of the harmonies of that cymbal and the alloy and the lathing process, all that stuff. And people use different sticks, so it's really important to compare. Ideally, you want to hear several cymbals. If you're doing it on YouTube or elsewhere online, you want to hear several cymbals recorded from the same place, same guy, girl, whatever, same stick, to get kind of an average overall sound. You know, if you're hearing in 2002, you want to hear another cymbal from that same place, that same room, all of that stuff really, really changes a lot. Plus, you hope that the guy or girl hits the cymbal in the same area. I see a lot of people hitting the cymbals right on the edge, and it brings out a lot of the harmonies of the cymbal. That's very different than hitting it halfway up, right? Or wherever, you know. So, and also the stick completely changes the sound. You know, you can make any cymbal, even the worst cymbal in the universe, sound amazing with a bolero stick, you know. So just compare. Don't take it from one video. But that's not why I wanted to do this. We're not talking about that. I wanted to. I was saying that I wanted to see the return of all of these cymbals, because that's what this album is about. So, and then I picked a few. I have. This is my 22-inch 404 Paiste ride. This is awesome. This is it's really awesome. I mean, for those people that are into bell shapes and stuff, and the taper, and I don't have all the terminology of all the cymbals of the way that Paiste says the cymbals, but you can see if I get it flat there, the shape of the bell versus the dome and the taper, and the lathing process. See that right there? See the dimples, the big dimples? You see how they change a little bit as they come out to the edge. And the lathing process. I've heard some people on the internet say this is the poor man's Giant Pete cymbal. It's not a Giant Pete sound. But I know why people are sometimes saying that about this cymbal. It has a thinner. There's not as much metal as a 505 for old vintage Paiste cymbals, and I think that contributes to why some people kind of say that maybe it's like a distant relative of the Giant Beat. I don't know what they did to make this cymbal happen. It is a B8 alloy, as almost all Paistes are. But if it didn't have, there's a harmony of this cymbal that persists that you don't have with the Giant Beat in the same way. Giant Beat is it's like fine flour. If you could equate that into a sound, it's very, very, the resonance is always very, very fine, very, very, it's not, if you had powder in your hand and flour and it's very, very soft, that you can equate that into a sound. It's like that to my ears. This one, it's not as fine. It's like the difference between maybe fine flour and fine sugar, This has a resonance that's a little not clangy, but a little more. The stick definition is a little thicker. But being that it's B8, it carries through stuff so nicely, so nicely. Um, uh, I don't know, the aspect that it's 22 and not 20 uh, helps the resonance of the cymbal. It brings there's a bottom end kind of thing that happens, but which creates a nice crash in this case. But it's so nice for that 70s old school, 70s, 80s even, 80s rock, 70s rock for sure. The Eagles, the Doobie Brothers, blues stuff, every blues thing you can imagine. It's an amazing cymbal. I use it all the time now. Every once in a while I pull out, I trade it with 505s. But this one is it's amazing. And then coming from this cymbal to kind of a more recent day in drumming, the cymbal that's really just paved a groove through history, like the Giant Beat did, is the signature, in my opinion, signature 20-inch signature dry ride. And that cymbal, you will hear, if you investigate, you'll discover it all over the place. It's all over the place. There are Nashville drummers, famous Paul Liam drummer. He uses that. He kind of preaches about it. And rightly so. The cymbal is amazing. It cuts through stuff, without being overbearing, it's very, very durable. You're never afraid of breaking it, or unlike this one or the Giant Beats. The Giant Beats, they have not a flimsiness, but they're thin. The feel is thinner than the signature dry rides, and that signature dry ride is just so it's like a tank. In the recording process, when I was doing all of these cymbals, that signature dry ride really, I rediscovered why it's such a great ride. It was the only cymbal in all of the cymbals that I used, that I recorded with like a test run, that stood out like on its own without me mixing anything. And after mixing all of them roughly the same way to get an idea of how they would be, that one, the signature 20s dry ride, maintained its character through the mix. So it was harder to change the empowering sound of that cymbal through the mix. It held on. The other cymbals, not so much. They did, and I'm like picking apart cymbals that I love, but that signature dry ride, there was an empowering, there was that thing that it held on to, and that just didn't want to get lost in the mix, and that sound is just amazing. And you've heard it 1,000 times. Jeff Porcaro, the Nashville drummers, country bands, rock bands for sure, 80s things. 80s sounding, right? Hold on, let me see the very date when that came out. Pause. So I just checked on my archives. I have the signature listed as 1989 coming out. Before that, you had Sound Creation, 2000s, 2002s, 3000s, 4/4s, 505s. I'm missing one. Some other ones. Sound Creation, Sound Formula was a little later. Definitely 2002s. So that's interesting. The sound formulas, sound creations, the 602s, all of that sound. You had that kind of stuff going on in the 80s, and it kind of, I guess, I can hear the resonance of the dome while I'm talking. It peaked, it matured into the signature line, in my opinion. It just, and that signature line, those rides are amazing. So if I ever get in one of those kind of bands, which I would love, that would definitely be, I would be tempted to use it in that kind of big ensemble. It just works out so well. It's a beautiful sound, among other stuff. But anyway, depending, I guess, on the age, because if it was an older band, I might be more tempted to use the 505s. I love those cymbals. I love them. I love those cymbals. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I use this one, this 404, a lot with my lessons right now. And but I was using this one with the trio, this jazz setting, swing setting, and I used it in a few, and it sounded good. It had a high end to it it was exactly what I was looking for, but it just seemed to miss the kind of wisdom that goes with serious jazz music without being, really dark and scary, which I don't like. So I was kind of undecided. I didn't know what to do. You can get it through the mix, but I want to play out with this group. So I told myself, it's been a long time. The first cymbal that I really set my eyes on, this is like 20 years ago, where I felt my heart move, was a Paiste traditional 20-inch ride. And at that time, I got it after I moved from a Sabian Duo ride to that one. And it knocked my socks off. I think I wish I would have stayed at that sound. I think my ear I couldn't get my ear around it. It was just too, I wasn't old enough yet, I think. I hadn't experienced life enough yet to understand why that cymbal was just so awesome. How to hear it. Which, that's me. Maybe other people are different, but that's how I feel. And I let it go. I traded it. That's how I got my hands on the signature drive-by. With that one. So I'm not sad, but I remember that one, and it was like a god to me. It was just, there was like the breath of heaven in that cymbal, and I've been kicking myself ever since for letting it go, regardless of having got the signature dry ride from it, And I went into the cymbal I got after that was a 22-inch Constantinople. I like big cymbals. Constantinople from the Zildjian factory is in Boston, very close by from where I was going to school. So it worked out. They had a ton of them, and I played them all. I haven't played that cymbal in years now. I started that. I spent a lot of money on that cymbal, and I really liked it up until a point, and then I just kind of I started to realize that I was a fan. I wasn't a fan of the alloy. I am a fan. I realized that in my age, my ears, what makes my blood move is that B8 alloy. You find that in 2002s, and you find that in almost all Paiste cymbals, almost all of them, and it was kind of a definitive moment when I realized that years ago that's what was always bothering me. And I hear the difference between those the B20s and the B8s, and when you go into like B10 stuff, B12, I guess Mino does stuff like that, and then they dry the bejesus out of them, and so I haven't played that cymbal in a long time, and I won't ever. I don't want to play it. You know, it's a photo of something of my past, but I know now. You know, you got to think about the cymbals you like and why, and that's how I am anyway. It's a very serious thing, and I contemplate about it a lot. So after tons of searching online, hearing cymbals, going to the Paiste site, which is fabulous, awesome, because you have all of the cymbals and you can hear the same figure is played, and they're it's a very reliable recording, as Paiste is with all of the cymbals anyway. That's one of those qualities of Paiste. And so their site is very reliable, and you can get a very good idea of what the cymbal sounds like. Quickly too, very quickly. It doesn't push you onto YouTube. It's within itself. It's in its own circuit, you know. And I was on there for hours and hours. I did go to YouTube to see how other people were playing them, and in a drum set situation. But I finally decided. I knew that I wanted the B8 thing, but I needed a little bit more maturity, a little bit more wisdom, without getting dark and scary sounding, because I can't stand that stuff. So for a little while, I was looking at the 602s, the new ones, which are very, very nice. But making the story much shorter, I'm going on and on. It's because I wish all of you were here and I could talk to you, and just, you know, we're all spread around the world. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying your coffee or whatever you're drinking right now while I'm talking on cymbals. Props to all the drummers out there and all the cymbal lovers. Brother in arms. So as I was saying, I wanted a mature sound, and I remember that 20-inch traditional signature ride, and I was like, that's it. That's the one. And I was dreaming about it. It's an so I'm going to show you. And I just picked it up. I just got it. Like literally a few days ago. I've had one opportunity to play it. And still in its bag. This thing, it is exactly, it's just, I will never let this go. The last time I had this cymbal, this series, like I said, it was like 20 years ago, and brought back a lot of memories to get it. And all right, that's the back end. That's what it looks like now. They have their new stamp up here. You can't see it, but you see it's like all these cymbals, you know, when they're brand new, they shine like the sun, which is beautiful. It's very hypnotic. I don't know. I should look on the bottom of the ones came out in '96, and later on, like whether the dome was like this or not, I don't remember. But it is the sound, which is that's it's amazing because the sound I remember in the end of the '90s, I got that signature 20-inch I had, I guess, like when I was 19, 99, yeah, 90, ended in 98, 99, and so they're still producing, Paiste's still producing that traditional line. And it still is what it was. Maybe they know, because they're the cymbal smiths, they know the nuances that have changed. But however, there's a harmony of this cymbal that I don't remember with the other one. But I mean, like I said, at that time, I couldn't get my ears around the maturity of that other cymbal, that I was playing 20 years ago. So it might have been there, but today I put this on and was playing it, just quarter notes and swinging, and there's a harmony that is hypnotic and just awe-inspired. It's just like you're like, awe, really. There's a harmony that goes on underneath the attack, the stick definition, that is just awe-inspiring, empowering, of this cymbal. I mean, it's just, and it's not an evil sound, It's not an evil sound. It's because I assume they say it's a signature alloy, but it's the 602s are supposed to be kind of a version, I think, if I don't make a mistake here, going back into the traditional B20 kind of alloy. Don't quote me on that, but the 602s are supposed to be closer to that range, where the signatures and everything else is basically the Cousin 8, 2002 alloy modified. So I'm assuming this is, and that the sound somewhere, I don't know what's going on with the cymbals. I don't know the composite, the alloy exactly, but man. Oh, actually, I think the dark energies are supposed to be closer to the traditional B20 alloy thing without going completely there. I think they're doing that too. So if you're into that sound, the B20, the dark energies are in that direction, more so than this one. This one still holds the B8 flag, in my opinion. In the back, I mean, you could go on about the lathing process. The cymbals, the lathing process, it's a professional, top-of-the-line cymbal. This is not banged out in some cave in some garage. This, was made by one of the most innovative cymbal companies in the world. And you see it and you hear it when you play this cymbal. There is the difference. The back is like this. So you see that very, very reminiscent hammering that you find, that big eraser head hammering that you find with a lot of Paiste cymbals in different ways, but they have not seemed to let that go, and for a good reason. It works very well. Like I said, I'm not a cymbal smith, but it's still there. And when you turn around, it's a very different vibe on the top end. On the top of the cymbal, you have a kind of the lathing is separated here, so you see underneath the lathing the blank, quote unquote, part of the cymbal, whereas in the front end, it's not like that, right? Obviously, it's all the way through, and then like little raindrops. I don't know if you can see it. Little raindrops. They have little hammer marks all over the cymbal, which will just add. I don't know what they do, but anyway, the result of the cymbal is just, it's amazing. It is. I mean, it's just like heaven. It's like literally like God breathes right into it, and there you go. This cymbal is just, that's what it does. That's what it does to me. And so I just can't wait to get to play this one with the group and play out and let people hear this cymbal in the context that I want to present it in. It just, I can't wait to do it. I just overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed with this thing. I will never ever get rid of it. You can see the shape. 22 inch. The dome is also super nice sound. I'm almost tempted. I mean, it sounds so just mature and great that I almost feel like I could use it in a pop setting. I'm sure actually I could and mix the tonality, the harmony that is not conducive of a pop sound out of it, but why do that when I have the cymbals? I'm not gonna do that. But it's so great of a quality sound that it's almost usable in that setting. A blues setting, yeah. Jazz for sure. Blues, yeah. Anything that's off the pop mainstream world, I think playing it right with the right sticks, you could definitely get through it with flying colors. Afterwards, it'd just be a question of taste. But man, this, it's I couldn't be happier. This cymbal is just literally changing my life. Like I matched it with, for the bells resonate. I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it anyway. It's hypnotizing me right now. I matched it with 15-inch Big Beat 2002 hats, which are awesome. Instead of getting the matching traditionals, I opted for those for different reasons. I'll talk about them in another video. But and they sound blowing. So the two of these together, I'm slowly narrowing in to a sound. And now I'm trying to figure out amongst all my other cymbals the crashes that I'm going to be using with this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the vintage ones. I'm not sure yet though, but I'm almost positive. I have this vintage setup that I can't wait to get back into, but now this is here, so I'm gonna have to adjust stuff. But it's just awesome. It just like blows my mind. So there you go. This whole thing, in my small video format here. I wanted to let you all know what's coming to town. This Paiste 22-inch traditional signature ride. It's technically called 22-inch traditional signature light ride. not dry ride, light ride. This one, and it's just, it's like heaven. 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 Heaven, heaven, heaven. So, more news. Thank you, Paiste. You sent me heaven. For those of you, go check this cymbal out. If you're in the jazz thing, it will blow your mind. More news. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy. See you soon. Ciao.